gonadal antagonists used for sex offenders is Lupron. Lupron is sometimes used for puberty blockers. But guess what? Sex offenders have to go every 3 months and get their injection. Why would a sex offender have to go every 3 months and get an injection? Because it's not permanent.
Hi, it's Misty. Eyez.
And good morning. Who is ready for a clap back? Today's clap back is for Rikki Miller. I think his name was Rikki Miller. It's funny because there's a lot of stuff going on in my life, like a lot of stuff going on, and I don't live on social media. In fact, admittedly, I don't check social media as much as I should and or might have in a previous life. However, I do get on and I do try to read, like, and reply to most comments on my posts. I'm sure I missed several. If you come at me with complete hatred and vile and malicious intent, I am going to completely and totally ignore you. Like, you thought I valued your opinion and I don't. But a lot of what comes at my page and or posts and or comments are complete misinformation and or ignorance. And what I find most shocking is so many people will preach at you as if they're the expert on the topic, as they know the absolute truth, and they don't even have a clue. So Rikki Miller, that's you. And therefore, I do make it a point to reply and educate their misinformation. And I don't blame them, because there is a lot of misinformation. Like, literally, Dr. Eyez was on TV talking about how young girls, children, can get a penis.
Vaginoplasty, a procedure a child does not need, costs $60,000. Shockingly, a phalloplasty, the creation of a penis, costs, on average, in America, according to this data, high quality, $150,000 per child. I do believe, with doing some work, that these prices have continued to increase with increasing manufacturer demand. And I must point out that the creation of a vagina, in that case of a phalloplasty, or a scrotoplasty where you add testicles, that's extra.
Phalloplasty costs, and these young girls. Name one child in the United States of America that has ever gotten a phalloplasty. Like, literally, that doesn't exist. But in fear-mongering and rhetoric, we protect the children. But this comment Rikki made was on one of my videos talking about youth and puberty blockers and etc., and how the effects of puberty blockers can be paused and unpaused. And they had a valid point and a perspective that I never really thought about, and why that misinformation is probably so widely spread. Rikki's point was, this is the same hormone used to treat pedophiles and or sex offenders. You're right. That part is true. The part that is not true, though, is Rikki said puberty blockers are permanent. That's like saying I'm taking birth control and that is permanent. That's where you're wrong. It's not permanent. In fact, one of the common gonadal antagonists used for sex offenders is Lupron. Lupron is sometimes used for puberty blockers. But guess what? Sex offenders have to go every 3 months and get their injection. Why would a sex offender have to go every 3 months and get an injection? Because it's not permanent. Yeah. It is a continued regime. When you undergo hormone replacement therapy, this is something you do for your entire life. You treat this for always. It's not a, hey, let me just take the shot and I'm cured. I wish it was that easy. I truly do wish it was that easy. But what they're not doing is they're not castrating sex offenders, and they're not giving sex offenders an orchiectomy and or testicle removal. What they're doing is giving them puberty blockers, which you are correct. It's an antagonist that's stopping their gonadal release from producing testosterone, which is true. And that stops their body from producing testosterone, and it stops their body from having a sex drive, etc. 100% true. But it's not permanent. That is complete misinformation. A common injection they use in under 18 for puberty blockers is an injection they put in your arm, very similar to what they would use for birth control. And that implant is there for 6 months. So a youth trying to pause their puberty, it's 3 to 6 months. You might go back every 6 months and change your implant. As adults, we take our testosterone blockers daily. It's a pill we take every day. It's not an implant they put in their arm. But for sex offenders, they have to do it every 3 months. But either way, you stop taking your hormones. Guess what comes back? That sex drive. After your 3 months or 6 months, depending on your prescription regime, guess what comes back? Your sex drive. And so this individual was commenting on a video where I was talking about how puberty blockers have been effectively used on cisgender heteronormative children as early as the 1980s. So for over 40 years, they've been safely using puberty blockers to stop precocious puberty on children who should not be going through puberty. And when they unpause their puberty, guess what? They start puberty. And if they want kids, they have kids. And if they don't want kids, they don't have kids. And guess what? Everything goes on as normal, just like it would for a trans child. So this misinformation is alarming. No, puberty blockers are not permanent. Sex offenders are not permanently cured. They're still on watch lists. But you know what? As a survivor of molestation and sexual trauma, I will tell you, I don't believe in the death penalty. I do believe that if you are found guilty and then you are released and you become a repeat offender, I do believe you should be not chemically castrated every 3 months, but have an orchiectomy. I think that it should be a full testicle removal. Guess what? You were warned. I do think it should be permanent. But a medical puberty blocker is not permanent, honey. And if it was, just Google transgender man pregnant. How many trans men are getting pregnant? If it was permanent, they're on testosterone and still getting pregnant. But yeah, the misinformation is real. And you know what's funny? You have the same academic resources that I have. Just go to googlescholar.com and you can get it. It's free. Loving you is easy.